Did you get a chance to watch that news conference, and we just wanted to get your reaction from it?
Yeah, most of it. I got up this morning and heard about Donald Trump had said that he has some evidence and certain that they'd caught somebody. That was my first indication that we had somebody in custody, and then it kind of built from there. And then we had this press conference, and I concur with what Governor Cox said, and probably in order of my preference. It was a coordinated effort, and having all of our law enforcement people come together. I've worked at the sheriff's department when I was a county commissioner, so I know how capable they are, a large department with a lot of equipment and tools and experience, and working with the local police and, of course, the FBI. It was a coordinated effort, and we should applaud that. That's how we should have seamless efforts on all things. I think, too, that I don't know that it's the end of a chapter. I think we breathe a sigh of relief uh, because the person's been apprehended and caught, and evidently we have some, reason to be fairly certain that he's the one. He's got his day in court. Yet we want to have due process, and let's not be doing things that we ought not to do in advance of actually having the courts and the law and the process happen. But I think we do all feel a little better today knowing that we have apparently apprehended the criminal. And secondly, I think it's a new chapter now. And I know that Spencer talked about, we're kind of an inflection point. It does remind us a little bit of the 60s. I was a product of the 60s, and with the assassination of Martin Luther King, with the assassination of Robert Kennedy, the unrest, again, the winding down of the Vietnam War. I mean, it was just a kind of a polarizing time, and it seems like we're kind of in a time in our history where that's coming back. And so I think the counsel that Governor Cox gave to us is there's a right way maybe to do this and a wrong way. We can escalate hatred, accuse the other side of always being the bad people, or we can see if we can't come together and find common ground, love each other, have more mutual respect for difference of opinions, and see if we can't join hands and get some good things accomplished together over this next generation. And I hope that's the path that we choose to take.
Well, it's been less than 48 hours since the shooting happened. How hard was it for you to have this international crime happen in your backyard?
Well, it was really stunning. It was hard for me to even comprehend. Utah County doesn't have a lot of violent crime. Our state has violent crime rates below the national average. And talk about a mellow campus. Utah Valley University is very calm. We don't have really a lot of protesting for any of our speakers that come in. My office, my conference center is turned into a command center. I can't even get in to get my laptop computer out. That's a stunning reversal from how I was living life here just a few days ago. So it really is kind of a check yourself and say, what happened? I know that I spoke at a couple of September 11th functions, and we had the assassination, then we had on the 10th, then we have September 11th, and the flashbacks of that. I know my wife told me, she says, I feel like I have a little bit of PTSD after what's happened, and we're all probably shaken to our core, about this assassination in our backyard.
Yeah.
And it makes us wonder, what direction are we going, and what can we do to stop it or bend the direction in a more positive way? And I think that's a responsibility we all have as citizens, as community, to come together and say, you know what, we don't like that direction. We don't want political violence. We don't want violence of any kind. And we ought to maybe start treating each other nicer.
Yeah. Well,
and I think that'll help us.
Well, Governor, thank you very much. I know it's been a really hard time, about the last month of some really tragic stories. Thanks for being with us. We always appreciate your insight.
Well, thank you, and thanks for all you're doing to help spread the word and calm the people and say, let's pull together. We can do that. We're Utah. We're Americans. We love our country, love each other. Let's see what we can do to be a light to the world.
All right.
Good message.
Thanks, Governor Herbert.
Former Governor Gary
you.
Herbert.
We want